Attention sports enthusiasts, keep the adrenaline pumping and elevate your game day with Chumba Casino. It's completely free to play. No purchase necessary. Whether you're cheering from the stands, on the move, or relaxing at home, Chumba Casino brings the thrill of social casino directly to your fingertips. Experience the ultimate social casino adventure with reels of casino-style games, offering hundreds of exciting options to choose from and fresh new releases every week. There's always something new and thrilling to explore, from action-packed social slots and classic blackjack to engaging bingo and solitaire. The fun never stops. Plus, enjoy generous daily login bonuses and a fantastic free welcome bonus to kickstart your social gaming journey. Dive into the excitement. Discover a world where you can play for your chance to redeem some serious prizes and have a blast along the way. Don't miss out. What are you waiting for? Join now and immerse yourself in nonstop fun and adventure with Chumba Casino. Get in on the action today at ChumbaCasino.com and make every day a Chumba day. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus TNC supply.
All right, so what's the funniest thing you've ever bought for someone and immediately thought, what am I doing with my life?
A thing that I bought for them?
Yeah, just something you've bought and then you went, what the fuck am I doing?
Oh, wow. I'm trying to,
A plane? You thought about buying a plane.
I did for someone. Yes, I did. That didn't happen. If she hears it, she's going to be like, where's my plane?
Yeah, right?
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the number one sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad and shocking stories of sugar dating. All right, today I have an old friend in, but before we get to him, our Patreon is popping. We need you guys to join the family. And the reason I say we need you is really we want you to. I just know you'll get so much benefit out of it, and you're going to become a better sugar dater, or even if you just want to sit on the sidelines and kind of observe people that are sugar dating. That's a lot of fun too. We'd love to have you. It's just like joining a family. We'd love to have you as our family. We have a free option, and I do throw quite a few things on there for our free members. Honestly, the paid tiers, which are very, very cheap, starting as little as $10 a month, or if you do it on Apple, I think it's like $14 with the surcharge. But that unlocks the entire site. You get everything. You get access to the community chat. You get the extra sugars and episodes before anybody else gets to hear them. You get to hear those. And exclusive behind-the-scenes photos, videos. We got the party coming up. You're going to want to see that. It's going to be so much fun. And if you're a member of our Patreon, you get priority judging if you apply to any of our parties. Those people get invited first. So there's another nice perk for you. And I know our party's coming up in just a couple weeks. I may have a few spots. I don't know. I'm getting pretty full. Now, if you're a sponsor, I'll make room for you. You let me know and we'll get you in. But as far as the 40 Sugar Baby packages I'm giving away, I have had a couple of cancellations. So if you are interested, I know the deadline was June 1st, but go ahead and submit that application. You'll find that at secretsofasugardaddy.com. Just press the party tab. It's going to be so much fun. I've been watching Shakira videos nonstop, trying to get acclimated with her Spanish-speaking songs. And then she's got a lot of great English songs, but it doesn't even matter what she sings in. Oh, man, what a smoke show. All right, onward. I know our guest today is going to have a lot of fun at the party. He's a veteran. Welcome back to the studio, Jay. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me
What
back.
are you doing in town?
Oh, enjoying the Phoenix heat.
Yeah, now you're from Denver.
Yeah, so I'm from Denver, and I've actually been coming down to Phoenix pretty much I think I've spent more time here over the winter months than actually up in Colorado.
When are we going to buy you a house?
So my strategy is to wait until June at the baking hottest months of the year when there's nobody else I'm competing with for offers,
I'm telling you what.
That's my strategy.
That might not be a bad strategy. Usually real estate sales pick up pretty good in April and May. Just because of the current economy and the interest rates, they haven't really done that. But yeah, I think sellers are ready to make a deal. So just
yeah.
let me know.
Yeah.
I'll be able to negotiate you a pretty good deal, I think.
There are some amazing properties, and for any of you guys that live out on the West Coast or the East Coast, the value you get in Phoenix is incredible. Like for a house that would be, like with a pool of 5,000 square feet, 6 bedrooms would be like the price of like a 2-bedroom in San Francisco.
I heard a starter home now in San Francisco is $1 million.
I think it's more than that.
I mean,
maybe $1 million, but
that's crazy.
Wouldn't surprise me if it's like 1.2.
And when you think starter home, that's like a little 1,500 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath starter home.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's just nuts. I don't know how people do it there. Well, they do multiple families. That's how a lot of them
multiple families, or both the husband and wife would have to both have high powered tech jobs.
Yeah.
Those are probably like the best scenarios for that to happen.
Well, we've got a list of things that we're going to talk about. Jay is an active sugar dater, and we see all kinds of scenarios that, you talk with some of our past party attendees that you've become friends with, and they ask you from the female side, man, how do I close the deal? How do I get past the meet and greet? We're going to get into all of that. But real quickly though, you've been helping Podcast Fanboy. He's in town. And you took a picture the other day. He looks unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Definitely 20 years younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are obviously Facetune filters or whatever, but that's the real way to, I guess, like be younger in real life,
So he's 67 or 68. I don't know what his birthday is, but he's right around there. You sent us a picture the other day of you two together, and he looked like he was in his 40s.
Yeah, he's now way better looking than me.
Well, he's got that hot little Russian girl.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess he just wants to make sure she's really happy with the way he looks. And
yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. He's heading over there soon to somewhere in the Eastern Europe area to meet up with her. So I think he's pretty excited.
And you two have become really good friends.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like I've become really good friends with him as well as several other guys from the party, mostly because I feel like when you first enter into this world, you're kind of navigating all on your own. You don't have an idea what you're doing. And to actually find other people that have gone through the same BS, scams, whatever, and to have somebody to share that with, I think it's really important. And some of the people that I've met through you are literally my closest friends right now. I mean,
isn't that
like
amazing?
Life-changing. I mean, it's unbelievable. People that I've known for 15, 16 years, I can't really tell them a lot of this stuff because they would just freak.
I know.
So you end up kind of not really being that close to them after a while because you have to like censor yourself, edit yourself, skip parts, whatever. But the people that are in this community, you already know that they accept you for what you do. So therefore, you can be so much more free to just self-express and bounce ideas off of them and help them when they have situations. I mean, it's invaluable.
Yeah, and the public perception of sugar daddy, sugar baby is so far off of what we are experiencing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I noticed the same thing. My best friends in life have come from people I met through this lifestyle. Either I've met them and dated them on the app, or I met a gentleman through a mutual friend or somebody that I met in the lifestyle. And we call it a lifestyle. It's like we're swingers or something. It's not. It's just people. It's compensated dating lifestyle. Right. I just can't believe the quality of people that I meet and I associate with.
Yeah.
That I share ideas with. It truly is life-changing, and I still get comments on the internet, oh, you guys are just a bunch of old perverts trying to screw 21-year-olds.
Well, that's probably because they don't have the means to play the game.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Jealousy. Really.
Now, as we've touted many times, sugar dating is not cheap. You do have to have some disposable income. And I saw this video just recently. Actually, we posted this on our Patreon, and the guy went to this old man and he goes, hey, why are some women such gold diggers? And he goes, look, all women are expensive. You just got to pick one in your price range.
Absolutely sure.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you either pay with
you're
sugar
paying,
dating,
buddy.
or when you're married, you're paying even more. You just
Oh,
don't
man.
know it yet.
Yeah.
I mean, when I came out of my divorce, I was at my lowest net worth, and I mean, I don't really think I'll get married again for that reason. It's just such a huge, hit in terms of your net worth and what you have coming away from it. And I love this lifestyle just to be able to. I mean, it's just a more free type of way of being with people, so that they don't feel that they are also having this pressure to commit or anything like that, and just enjoy the moment, enjoy the time we have together. And, like a lot of times, like life will take us to a different place. This one sugar baby that had really, really nice experiences went to Europe together, and now she's back in Australia. We still keep in touch, but like that's where her life took her. So, and my life is here. So, but we still had nice experiences together, and I still help her occasionally. We still keep in touch, and we're still friends. But, it's not like we're trying to make it work no matter what, just ruining both our lives.
Where did you meet her?
Oh, on the site.
No, but like, did you meet her in Europe?
Oh, no. So I met her in Denver when I first got there 2.5 years ago. And like, I didn't really know that many people in town, and she was in town just to be with her brother, and she wasn't working, and she had a lot of free time. So we just went out to lunch a lot, went shopping. And then eventually we did like weekend trips together. So we did a trip. I flew her back to Denver when she went to Chicago, and then we went to Tucson, and then went to California, and then eventually we went to Europe. I would say that ideally that's probably the better way to do it, where you ease into a longer trip. It's not like you meet the first day, and the first day is like on a 10-day trip together in Europe, because if somehow you don't get along, neither you guys, you're like stuck with each other. And it goes both ways. I mean, it's like, a guy could have a girl that's just completely cannot regulate emotionally. I mean, that's not fun for the guy.
And
either.
you remember when Short King
Exactly.
committed to a European trip with a girl he hadn't even met face to face yet?
Yes.
And
That
then
is
when they
exactly
finally
right.
met, it blew up, and the whole thing just went south so quickly.
Yeah. I mean,
Can you imagine if he actually went through with the trip?
Yeah, exactly. He actually lucked out not going on the trip with
Yeah.
her, because she would have ruined like at least the 2 weeks they were together. I mean, but for the girl, obviously, like, she doesn't know whether the guy is going to like also emotionally stable, whatever it is that they're worried about, or just, their physical safety.
Now,
as
if you
well.
want to do a trip to Vegas or, something like that really quick in and out,
Yeah.
you can take the chance. But
Exactly.
don't invite a girl on a European vacation that you've never
Absolutely.
met.
Especially like when the tickets cost more, and it's
yeah.
like, even just getting to Europe is not a short journey. So
Right. So that's cool. How long did you date that girl that's now in Australia?
I mean, she once she left Denver and went to Chicago, we saw each other only when we would do trips together.
Yeah.
So the sugar dating lifestyle was great, because you don't have this like commitment where you're trying to be faithful to this person that's not even like locally with you.
Right.
So you enjoy the time you're with together, and then just whatever, live your life, and the times you're not, and there's no like expectation. But I don't know, like I think when she was in town, we spent quite a bit of time together, maybe for like 2 or 3 months or something like that, and then would see each other on trips, which is like once every 2 months, I think, something like that.
Yeah. I've talked about her before. And matter of fact, she's coming back to Sugarpalooza 6. You might have met her at Sugarpalooza 5, but she's from Vegas. And it's such a great relationship. I never talk to her unless I'm going to be in town.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh my God, yes, let's go out, dinner, let's have some fun, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's like time stood still. Like no time has passed.
Yeah.
And we just get together and talk like we saw each other yesterday.
It's like that with old friends, actually.
Right.
Some friends like I know for many years, and it's like we don't always keep in touch. When you see each other again, you always appreciate seeing each other, instead of like this commitment thing where you're trying to force things to happen, and it just seems so much more high pressure and just not fun, in my opinion.
Yeah. I really enjoy her company, but I know that I can't have a relationship with her. She can't have a relationship with me. So we enjoy it for what it is.
Exactly.
And we've been doing this now for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because Alejandra's met her, and Alejandra loves her.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, make sure you invite her to our next party.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
Absolutely. I would love to.
Yeah,
And she accepted and she's coming.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great way to live life because, like, I travel a lot, so it's hard for me to expect one person to be with me 24/7, and I'm not even sure I want that. Mm-hmm. But you go to a different place in different city, and you have some people that you can meet up every like 2 months or so. It just kind of makes your life so much more richer, and I would definitely prefer that than trying to make it work with one person, where it's just. It's hard to expect one person to accommodate all your needs. It's just some
tough.
people they're better at one thing, or they have interests that are more compatible with yours. But to expect one person to fulfill all your needs is it's a very tall order to fulfill.
Well, we don't want to discourage anybody from doing that because that's how I grew up. I just didn't see it working for anybody.
Yeah, I mean, not for me.
Yeah, not for me either.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Ready to level up? Chumba Casino is your playbook to fun. It's free to play with no purchase necessary. Enjoy hundreds of casino-style games like bingo, slots, and solitaire anytime, anywhere with fresh releases every week. Whether you're at home or on the go, let Chumba Casino bring the excitement to you. Plus, get free daily login bonuses and a free welcome bonus. Join now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Play Chumba Casino today. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. T&Cs apply.
Before we get to your questions, though, a couple questions. How many sugar babies are we juggling right now? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I have to actually mentally count myself.
Oh, man.
I mean, some have fallen away just
I mean, some of them you see every couple months. So
exactly,
it's not like you're seeing 9 girls,
in a consistent basis.
Consistent basis.
Yeah,
right.
like even that girl that I know in Australia, there's no way we can actually physically meet that easily these days. So,
Right.
But I still support her. She has a lot of health issues, but it's like I care about her, so therefore I want her to be okay. So I would count her as one, but then it's not like somebody who is like, say, my primary person that I see like 4 times a week. So therefore it's a very different dynamic. So it's like, how do you even count that? Do you count? I mean, I would say count that, but I've kind of have a one primary person, but if you want to hear shocking, is that she's gotten into like some legal trouble and like there's multiple times she's had to. Well, one time she had to spend a night in jail. So
You're still seeing her?
Yeah,
And you're paying for her lawyer bills, aren't you?
Yeah, it's
Multiple lawyers.
yeah, it's I feel like once you start to care about somebody, I think I do have some level of maybe like loyalty and commitment to her in some ways. Obviously, it's not limitless,
Yeah.
but I do feel that because she has a young child, I think without me, she would probably lose custody of the child and also.
Now, it's the one that Alejandra and I met, right? With you,
Yes,
we had dinner?
that's right. That's right.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's right. So it's been quite a while. I think it's
Nice girl.
Yeah, it's like definitely over a year. I think it's coming on 2 years if it's like in November.
How often do you see her?
So when I'm in town, I see her quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I have to say she is definitely a model for what to do right because she knows herself. She's not the most stunning woman and she's not the youngest. And she obviously, there are challenges with her profile considering that she has a child. That does make dating more complicated when you're a single.
How old is her child?
Almost 3.
Oh, it's young.
It's a very young child. So the child's very dependent on her. And so, I thought about this too, for a guy to date a single mom. It's more challenging because of the fact that the mother is going to always prioritize the kid or the kids over some new guy where she doesn't know the new guy's even going to stick around. And from the guy's perspective, you're providing for not just her, you're providing for multiple people.
Right. I dated a girl with 2 small kids. I've dated actually multiple girls with very small kids. It's always a challenge when you're trying to plan date night,
Yes.
going out for dinner, going out to do anything.
Absolutely.
So do you take care of the babysitter? How do you find someone to do the childcare? How's that work?
Yeah, so for a while, the child would go to the father, but seems like the father doesn't even have rights to see the kid anymore. So therefore, she has to take care of the kid most of the time. And honestly, yeah, I can get a babysitter and this and that, but it's just easy if I just drive down there after the kid goes to sleep, really. That's pretty much.
If you're going to stay in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we just stay in. Like,
Right.
we don't, so it's just logistically easier in that way.
Does the child ever sleep in the bed with her?
Oh yeah. So
I found that to be a huge challenge.
yeah, that's weird. so a couple of times
Like a cock blocker.
Yeah. Well, the deed's already been done by that point. So,
You know how many times I waited up till 1 a.m, like, will this kid just go to sleep already?
yeah, I've definitely been over there where the kids sometimes would like be up a little later, but I'll just be on my phone or whatever.
Well, what's that song? What, Up All Night to Get Lucky?
Yeah, I know exactly. Maroon
Right?
5. Yeah. So she would, but usually the kid would want to come in like at 3 a.m. So I usually just go back and sleep in my own bed because like there have been too many times where I literally get woken up and the kid's like storming into the room and I have to like skedaddle out at 4 a.m. and drive home. I'm like, oh, I can barely stay awake.
Oh, I know. It's challenging.
I got.
But if you like the person, you just deal with those challenges.
You're right.
It
You just
doesn't
deal with it.
kill the deal. It just makes it a little more complex.
Well, the thing is that I think she ideally would prefer that I am, 100% loyal to her, but she knows the reality of the situation is that I feel like because I literally provide for her life, it's kind of suicidal to just break up with me over like the last 5% of what she's not getting.
Right.
It's just more of a practical thing.
Do you talk openly about the others that you're dating with her?
No, right now it's kind of like don't ask, don't tell type
Yeah.
thing because I feel like once you say something, you can't take it back and then you don't know. Because like I've definitely had situations where I mentioned somebody and then it got really...
That's hard not to do because
it's challenging.
It's your life and you're having these experiences and sometimes you don't want to say, oh yeah, when I went to this with so-and-so, you want to share this really cool experience, but you can't.
Exactly.
With that person. Fortunately, with Alejandra, we're so open that she asked me to tell her about these experiences or what I was thinking, or maybe it was a bad experience and we can bounce it off of each other. But if you're kind of at a don't ask, don't tell situation, makes it really tricky.
I just learned that it seems like better because I don't know how she's going to react. So therefore, if I don't know, then it's like a little bit tenuous if it's like safe to do it. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I want the relationship to be okay or be maintained, and so does she. So better to not introduce fireworks into it. But obviously, I'm providing for her 100% now, and therefore
100%.
Yeah. Because
You're her sole source of income.
now I'm her sole source of income. So, and
Wow.
like that Chris Rock bit, is so funny with the 25-year-old girl with the shoes. When you're dating a 25-year-old girl, she just wants a pair of shoes. When you're dating a 50-year-old, she wants a new roof.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore, like she's,
Different priorities.
she's not 50, but she definitely has a lot more responsibilities. And it's like, I do compare it to like if I'm dating somebody much younger, there was somebody here that I was seeing and you met her, and she's just like renting a room at an Airbnb. I mean, her cost structure is like vastly lower. And, she doesn't have a child. So, these things all weigh on you. And if I didn't really like have a conscience about it, obviously I would prefer something that's just somebody younger and way simpler in that way.
Right.
Just because it's just, you can do things a lot easier,
Okay. Well, fortunately you have the means to cover all this, but there's got to be a time where you have so many girls on the payroll that you've got to say enough is enough. How do you cut one off?
Yeah.
How do you have that conversation?
So there is this one woman, I might have mentioned her in a past episode. She's the woman in Spain that has 2 kids with 2 parents. Blue Eye Princess has actually been helping me. She's the enforcer. She's helping me kind of, have an exit strategy. We kind of, and communication kind of goes through her now. So, and we have a plan where I'm going to give her this amount until the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So she has a long runway in terms of what's going to happen to her. It's not like I'm pulling the plug out of nowhere. And she knows it's like a long time in coming because she can't really do anything for me because I'm not really spending time with her. And, I don't really want to take on a family of 5. And then she wants to bring her father over and her brother. And it's like, I'm taking care of 7 people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just ridiculous, And it's like, what am I getting on my end? Because I'm not obviously even having any, physical interaction with her. She's in a different country. So you're right. It's like, other people can do things differently, but I'm trying to do things in a way it's maybe a little more humane, so that they have like a long runway to know what's coming. They can plan for it, look for other options. Like my idea is that if you're having trouble finding the ideal guy you want on the site for a woman, do what this one other, I guess, sugar baby that's come to the party has done, which is you don't look for men that is going to be your dream prince person. You look for somebody who is going to like you and will provide for you. And so it's like if you're a woman that's, say, like you're in your 40s or something, go for guys that are like 75. You're not obviously looking to marry them, but that if you find somebody like that, they probably will be pretty ecstatic to be with you and support you, as opposed to like, well, I really like this other guy who's my age, but he's also a billionaire. I mean, you're going to be competing against a lot more other girls that are either younger or more attractive. I mean, that's obviously it's a relative scale of what people are looking for from the guy's perspective, but you don't want to make it harder for yourself to find what you want if you're an SB, So I feel like if you have that approach and just kind of see it as like, well, I'm not looking for the dream prince, but just somebody that can provide for me, then at least you get that part taken care of, and then maybe leave room for like the possibility of finding romance from some other guy that doesn't happen to have money.
Yeah.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Let's get into some of these.
Attention sports enthusiasts. Keep the adrenaline pumping and elevate your game day with Chumba Casino. It's completely free to play. No purchase necessary. Whether you're cheering from the stands, on the move, or relaxing at home, Chumba Casino brings the thrill of social casino directly to your fingertips. Experience the ultimate social casino adventure with reels of casino-style games, offering hundreds of exciting options to choose from and fresh new releases every week. There's always something new and thrilling to explore. From action-packed social slots and classic blackjack to engaging bingo and solitaire, the fun never stops. Plus, enjoy generous daily login bonuses and a fantastic free welcome bonus to kickstart your social gaming journey. Dive into the excitement. Discover a world where you can play for your chance to redeem some serious prizes and have a blast along the way. Don't miss out. What are you waiting for? Join now and immerse yourself in nonstop fun and adventure with Chumba Casino. Get in on the action today at ChumbaCasino.com and make every day a Chumba day. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus TNCs apply.
Some of your notes, because I can't believe we're already halfway through the show, and I'm just like, wow, we hadn't even got into the meat of it yet. So you get a lot of questions from the girls, and they're like, hey, can you give me your opinion on how to close the deal or how to get past the meet and greet? How do we discuss allowance? We talk about that almost every show.
Yeah. So I've just been noticing just in the, what people tell me that girls discuss in the girls chat, some of the subjects, and that's always like a big topic. So I think by the time that a girl gets to do a meet and greet, she is quite far ahead. Because I think a guy is not going to, want to spend his time to do a meet and greet unless he is attracted to the girl and feels like there's some potential in it.
You know how many messages I get on Seeking that I just delete? I don't even talk to.
Exactly.
So getting to the meet and greet's a big thing.
It's a big thing. I mean, it's like probably not too different than think about it compared to like a job interview. By the time you get a job interview, you've already gone past like 100 other resumes that didn't make it to getting to the interview. So you're already at a pretty good spot. So I've heard this from another podcast. It's kind of like by the time you get to the, say, first date, which is kind of what a meet and greet is, depending on who you're talking to, it's for you to blow it. It's like because the person want to be there to see you and meet you. So therefore, you want to kind of proceed in a way that kind of doesn't cause you to be eliminated. Because obviously, if the person wants to see you enough, there's the chance that he would want to see how things would work out long term, So I think one of the main things that I feel like I've done obviously a lot of meet and greets, and there's some girls that I was very attracted to physically, and then the meet and greet just completely goes south. And, you know,
man.
Yeah. I mean, you've had quite a few too, but
I've probably done over 200 meet and greets. So yes.
oh, wow. I think that's more than me for sure.
Yeah.
And just kind of think about what qualities, you know, usually lead to the next date, or what qualities end up being red flags. And I'm just like, oh, forget this. I'm never going to, you know, do this again. So one thing that I think that all the SBs should keep in mind is that when they do a meet and greet, they have to make it so that it's easy for the guy to say yes to the next step. So, you know, like Netflix, right? When you sign up for Netflix, they don't tell you that you have to pay $200 up front. They'll give you a trial, and then you start to watch Netflix. You start to like maybe get into a certain show, like 90 Day Fiance or something like that, you know? And so you're in like episode 10 out of 15. You want to know what happened to these characters. You're invested. And so therefore, like, that's when you probably are going to get the notice that, you know, your trial is out, you need to pay. So by that time, you're invested in the show, you're invested in the brand, you kind of want to continue. Whereas like if you contrast that with, say, you know, Netflix or whatever it is, say that, well, you know, our service is $500 up front for the year. You'd have no idea what the show is about or what kind of shows there are, whether this, whatever app has any good content. Why would you pay that? It's like the barrier is way too high.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of, if you tell me that I had to pay $500 to watch the Breaking Bad series, I'd say, I'll pass.
Yeah.
After I get to watch the first episode for free, I'll pay whatever you ask,
There you
because
go.
that had me hook, line, and sinker, and I could not wait to see what else happened.
Exactly. And I think that's a model that I think some of the SBs should use. And I'm not saying you should give the farm away, but okay, so examples. These are real life past whatever meet and greets I've had. There was this one girl that I met I was quite attracted to, and I took her out to dinner and everything. And then we got to discussing just the financial part. And at the end of it, she kind of said that I won't do it for less than 3,000 as a PPM. I was like, you just lost me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, are you like a trapeze artist? You know, what are you doing that's going to be so incredible? You know, I have no idea what she is kind of basing her valuation on. So I compare that to, say, somebody like my primary person. I've definitely provided for her well into the 5 figures, if not 6 figures by this point.
Absolutely. Same. Yeah.
So therefore, you're screwing yourself by making your price tag initially so high that the people just don't want to buy.
Right.
And I think a lot of it stems from, you know, we all have egos, right? We all have a sense of what we feel like we're worth. But at the end, you're kind of left with your ego, but that you still don't have the money that you're hoping to get from the dynamic, right? So there has to be a balance in terms of what you're willing to, I guess the word is negotiate. You want to understand what is acceptable to you. Obviously, if a guy is going to say $200, take it or leave it, then forget it. That guy is not going to provide for you, you know? And you just kind of have to, you know, as an SB, just walk away at that point. Cause like, I don't think an SB that's just going to say $200 is going to get up to providing, you know, like a $700 PPM. It's just, the gap is way too big. So those situations are sadly, you know, I mean, maybe that can kind of go down to vetting to see if you even want to meet a person like that for a meet and greet. And I think that, you know, I've heard this, I'm not sure what the statistics are, but that there are now a lot of guys that are on Seeking because they're noticing a lot of pretty women on there, but they might not actually have the means to do this kind of, you know, to do sugar dating, but they still obviously would like the women. So oftentimes, like, you might have a much better looking guy that would like to obviously meet a certain girl, and it is up to the SBs to maybe try to figure out whether the guy is a legit, you know, I guess, player in this field.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more difficult now that I'm hearing Seeking has taken off one of the descriptive terms for men, and that's how much they make a year, because you can just put a range and what their net worth is.
Yeah.
Those numbers were never verified, and I can't tell you how many wealthy men told me they put like a very small net worth because they didn't want to attract certain types of people. I don't know. And then you get the people that are only making $100,000 a year, they make $1 million a year.
Right.
So maybe that's why they took it off, because they're unverified and really just people put anything on there. But the girls on there tell me, yeah, but I look at those. I look at that description, and if they have only 100,000 on there, I don't even bother contacting them.
Yeah.
But then I got to remind the girls, hey, I know guys that are worth 100 million that say they're only worth 500,000.
Right.
You know, so you can't really take that at face value.
Yeah.
But now Seeking has taken that off.
Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting.
That's going to make it more challenging. So I think if you're a girl, if you're an SB, what you could do is pick out things that a guy says to indicate the kind of lifestyle that he lives. So if he tells you that, like, oh, I'm a FedEx driver, well, obviously he's not going to be able to provide that much for you.
Well,
unless you own FedEx.
with some caution, because I was just doing a construction job today, or overseeing one with my crew. I was talking to a guy that works in the construction. He's part of another crew, and he's telling me that he owns 5 Bitcoins and some other stuff, and that he's just waiting for them to really explode, because that's going to be his retirement. And I'm like, wait a minute, you own 5 Bitcoins?
Like the physical ones?
No, but like 5. He has invested in 5 Bitcoins.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, he has 5. So at today's rate, that's $500,000.
Wow. That's
And I was like, I was looking at it. I mean, this guy's just a construction guy getting down and dirty. I was like, are you serious? He goes, yeah, I bought my first Bitcoin when it was $7,000.
Wow. Okay, that's give that guy credit.
But this is my retirement. I'm not cashing them in. This is my retirement. So you know,
you never could tell.
You just got to ask probing questions.
Exactly. You gotta ask, I think if, like, let's say that guy was on Seeking, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't kind of just tout the fact that he's a construction worker. You know, maybe you can kind of say that, like, well, you know, my investments in Bitcoin have allowed me to buy a new plane or something, you know, so that you can kind of communicate, or the girl can kind of look for clues where he has the means, so that it's worthwhile for you to go to this meet and greet, you know, because, like, obviously if you go to a meet and greet and the guy's like lowballing you 200, I mean, I feel like after a few times, if you're SB, you feel like, well, I need to, like, learn to not make that mistake again. Mm-hmm. So there's that part. And oftentimes with a negotiation, you know, I think I've definitely had it both ways, where a girl will tell me what she's comfortable with, and then I would also had situations where I've introduced what I feel like is appropriate.
It's so tricky, because as you're talking, I'm thinking, I've talked about this so many times, but the very first girl I met on Seeking back in 2016, we never talked finances one time. I met her, I had such a great time, and I probably spent more on her than I've ever spent on anyone.
Yeah.
I took care of her in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Her rent, her car.
Yeah.
Her vacations, entertainment, dinners, everything.
Yeah, and I think,
I wasn't expecting to do that when I met her.
Exactly. I've had situations like that too, and so I think it's important for the girl to the 3,000 ppm is a classic example, to not come off like that would be a red flag for a lot of guys, you know, because if you're seeing things, you're trying to look for, you know, what is the potential of this person? If, like, they start out with such a high price tag, it's only going to go up. So therefore, like, do I want to really commit to this kind of person, whether it's going to be, you know, if I take her to the Ritz-Carlton, it's still not going to be nice enough? In that situation, then it's just not ideal. And to me, that's a big turnoff. Whereas, like, if a girl it's like oftentimes if a girl does offer her rate and it ends up being lower than what I had in my head, then it's a really good thing. And then those people are the ones that end up having a long-term situation with me, because it gives me the green light. It makes me feel like, wow, there is, like, room here for me to grow into even a number that I feel comfortable with, you know? And then oftentimes, like, what a girl could do is, like, you know, leave it to the guy to suggest a PPM, because I feel like in this world, the guy is coming to the table with the assumption that he has money, right? So he wants to show that he has money. So I feel like the guys that like lowball, I mean, they just shouldn't be in this game at all. So it's like, if you do have means, you probably want to show that, yeah, I'm a baller or whatever, you know? So would put a number out that's like substantial. So it might actually surprise you what the guy would introduce in terms of a PPM number. Like I said, if the guy is like giving you a $200 PPM, then it's just walk away. You know, then it's like obviously a waste of time for both people. But I do think that it's important to not have the price tag at the beginning too high, because if you do that, then you know you're not even going to get the next deal. I mean, you would have to be so hot, like 2 million followers on TikTok and Instagram type kind of person to kind of introduce a number that high and for the person to say yes, in my opinion. To the general, like, I guess the middle of the bell curve for the men on Seeking. I mean, obviously there are billionaires on there, so you know you can't count those because that's like kind of, you know, I don't know, like 5 out of like thousands, you know. So I wouldn't say that's like the medium of the bell curve, you know. But yeah, I think that is an important point, and also like a couple of like little small things. So like, you know, if you're SD, right, the first date or the first meet and greet, oftentimes it goes beyond just coffee, and you might like, oh, well, we're at the mall, you want to go do some shopping. I've done that before, and just kind of like, in those situations, kind of like what a woman would do, it's like, it's a test. You want to see how the person behaves, because like you're looking for long-term potential. So let's say like you take her for coffee, right? Does she say thank you to you? I mean, it's a very small thing. Like a coffee is what, like $8 if you get like all the syrups or whatever, you know? But it's obviously like nothing compared to what a PPM or like an allowance would be. But at the same time, if a person shows gratitude, that goes a long way. From a guy's perspective, from a guy that has options and have done this enough, he is seeing all the iterations of times where there are women that are appreciative and behave well, and then women that aren't. So who is he going to pick? Obviously somebody that does show appreciation, and that starts at the beginning from something small. If you're a girl, like, I'm not going to show any appreciation until he like spends $1,000 on me or whatever. You might not even get to that, because the guy's going to be like, well, this girl is like kind of, you know, ungrateful and just, you know, kind of entitled, you know? So I think oftentimes like these little clues do kind of make it like a green flag for me to kind of like, you know, move on to the next thing.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
So, and kind of in tandem with that, this might be beyond just...
Attention sports enthusiasts. Keep the adrenaline pumping and elevate your game day with Chumba Casino. It's completely free to play. No purchase necessary. Whether you're cheering from the stands, on the move, or relaxing at home, Chumba Casino brings the thrill of social casino directly to your fingertips. Experience the ultimate social casino adventure with reels of casino-style games, offering hundreds of exciting options to choose from and fresh new releases every week. There's always something new and thrilling to explore. From action-packed social slots and classic blackjack to engaging bingo and solitaire, the fun never stops. Plus, enjoy generous daily login bonuses and a fantastic free welcome bonus to kickstart your social gaming journey. Dive into the excitement. Discover a world where you can play for your chance to redeem some serious prizes and have a blast along the way. Don't miss out. What are you waiting for? Join now and immerse yourself in nonstop fun and adventure with Chumba Casino. Get in on the action today at ChumbaCasino.com and make every day a Chumba day. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus TNC supply.
The first initial meet and greet, but it might be kind of like the first 2 dates. Oftentimes I would take, you know, if I meet a girl at a shopping mall, I would say, let's go, you know, let me pick up a few things, you know, because like I feel like that's like a way to provide without having it be like a PPM amount. It's like a little less kind of monetarily transactional. It's a little bit more comfortable, you know. It's like, oh, I'll buy you like a blouse or something like that. And I've done that a few times. And so what I look for is not somebody that picks like, you know, like walks straight into Prada or Balenciaga, you know, or Dolce & Gabbana and buys like the most expensive thing. Because I feel like if you're doing that in the first date, I don't think I can like accommodate you. Like your tastes and standards are so high. It's like, you know, I mean, sure, there are other guys that have like maybe way more money, but that's not the kind of game that I want to play. I want to be with somebody that is going to be grateful for what I provide. You know?
Yeah, I've had a couple meet and greets or first dates at a sushi place that was right across from Barnes and Noble. And afterwards, we went in there and I bought them they were looking at a book or something in there, and I bought them something, there. And then I had one too. We were in a restaurant at the Fashion Square Mall, and she was telling me about her, I don't know if it was an Android watch or an Apple Watch, but it had broken. Mm-hmm. So we walked in, I found a nice affordable one and bought her, and she just thought that was absolutely amazing. But it wasn't because they were asking, it was just because I felt like that it would be a fun, nice thing to do for them. Yeah. And to make it special. But, if they were kind of demanding like, hey, I want this, without being grateful for it, that would be a total turnoff.
And I think that if you can understand these initial clues that guys look for, I mean, the people that I have ended up supporting, and same as you, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But those people that ended up in that position, they were able to play their cards right at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Where it's like the person that wanted a $3,000 PPM, she didn't get the $3,000 and she pretty much got nothing except for dinner. So I feel like if you understand these things, then it really pay dividends in the long run for you. Yeah, because those are the things that I think, what SDs look for in terms of like whether the person is safe to proceed.
Yeah.
So
all right.
I got a couple other things here. So when you're on a meet and greet, I think it's very important to not be negative. I've definitely had dates where a person just go on a complaint rant. And it's just like
it's a downer.
It's a downer. That is exactly.
I do not want that.
I do not want that, because that's a clue as to what that person is going to be like in the future if you are going to like spend more time with them, and it's just going to complain. I mean, like, oh my God, too much, And another thing that I think it's quite important is, so women are attracted to men in a very multifaceted dynamic. It's their status, it's their physical appearance, it's how they keep their hygiene, it's whether they have means or resources or not. Whereas men are pretty much a lot more simple. It's the physical appearance of a woman is like, I don't know, like 90%. Obviously, she can't be obnoxious and mean or whatever. And there are some men that even tolerate that as long as she's hot. But yeah. I mean, that's why there are like podcasts that say, why are hot girls crazy? Because they can get away with it. Guys just want to like, fuck them. And then they, once they get that, they're happy and they'll tolerate the craziness. But physical appearance matters a lot. So therefore, when you're going to a meet and greet, I mean, there's some women that kind of would take the assumption that like, well, this is who I am, so therefore they should accept me for that. No, because a guy that's like, let's say a guy that has a lot of meet and greets that he goes to, he's comparing you against everybody else. So if there are other girls that show up made up, or at least like have a nice outfit on, put together, does her hair, that matters a lot. Because if you're going to go to a meet and greet, like I said, you already are getting the green light. And the assumption is that you put good enough pictures up and you're attractive enough for the guy to say, yeah, this girl's pretty or attractive. So if you show up on a meet and greet in like sweatpants, I mean, you just blew it right there. You wasted the opportunity. So,
and you know how many times girls have showed up in sweatpants?
Oh yeah, no.
It's it's unreal to me.
Yeah.
That they would do that and here I am possibly committing hundreds of thousands of dollars
exactly
to this person, and they just show up looking disheveled.
Exactly.
Like they rolled out of bed, and like that I should be happy they're there.
Yeah.
I'm just appalled.
Yeah, and it's like
some of this.
Obviously the pictures are probably better than what they showed up in.
Right.
So it's like, well, this is not the same person, And I've had the same thing where people showed up in sweatpants, and it's like the lack of effort. How I'm dressed now with a nice dress shirt, that's how I show up to a meet and greet as well, because I want to look presentable just the same. And so I feel like you want somebody that would put effort in on the same, on par at least,
Yeah.
And another thing that I think it's is good for girls is that don't make things political. So I've had 2 Teslas, and now there's such backlash against Teslas, depending on where you live. I think in Arizona is actually much better than Colorado.
Denver is very liberal.
Yeah, it's
Arizona. Nobody's.
Yeah. I noticed that there are plenty of cyber
Yeah.
trucks here, and it doesn't seem like they're getting.
Nobody's vandalizing them here.
Oh yeah, so
I mean, I'm sure there's a case or two, but not rampant.
but I haven't heard podcast fanboy. I asked him. He has a Tesla and he hasn't had any issues. So I've had 2 meet and greets where both women. The last one, well, she also catfished me. She gained about like 25 pounds compared to her picture, so that was already a no bueno.
Yep.
She kind of said that, yeah, when I see a Tesla, I like to flip the finger at the person, like to as many Teslas as possible.
So she's basically flipping people off that she does not know because of her political stance.
Exactly. And she's assuming that, like, well, they're probably...
And she told you that?
She told me that. And it's like, you don't know what kind of car I drive. And if anything else, most SDs probably have a Tesla. So,
like, I love the self-driving features. I don't have a Tesla, but I sure am envious of the ones who do.
Yeah. And it's like...
I don't care who makes it.
But I feel like most SDs... they come to the table because they have money, right? Mm-hmm. So Tesla is like one of the car brands that is like a luxury brand.
Yeah.
So the odds of a SD having a Tesla, I mean, it's not like, 100%, but it's like, probably 30%. It just doesn't really make any sense to introduce that. And then like afterwards, it's like this awkward moment. And it's like, well, I have to walk back to my car. Do I go the other way? I mean, but it's like, I don't even want to bother with a person like that because I don't want to skirt around the idea that I have a certain car.
All right. So what was your response?
I mean, she already lost me when she catfished me. So,
okay. So not only was she political, but she showed up overweight, and at that point, you just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I've definitely had SBs or sugar babies that aren't a size 2.
Yeah,
some are bigger because I have grown an emotional attachment to them. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that if you show up catfishing somebody, you're a disappointment to start. So whereas like if you just come as you are, maybe the guy wouldn't select you to begin with because they wanted somebody that's a size 2. But maybe if the guy didn't mind what your body size is and you showed up as is, then you're not lying to the person right from the start.
Okay, here's something interesting. Have you noticed on Seeking they took away the descriptive terms like slim, athletic, average, curvy, overweight? They took away those and now they just have a weight range like 110 to 120, 120 to 130, 160 to 170. Have you noticed that?
Well, apparently the women are like very unhappy about that.
Well, yeah. So here's something funny. I got ghosted, stood up for a meet and greet. This girl, I can't even believe she did this either because we communicated a lot. And then like at 3:00 said, hey, I'll meet you at 7. And I didn't even verify with her because we had just confirmed it. So I go to this restaurant. I was at the bar. She didn't show up.
Yeah.
I messaged her, no message, blah, blah. Like 2 months later, she messages me on Seeking and goes, hey, sorry, can we try again? I'm like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Then I looked at her profile and every picture is very attractive. And I'm like, it's too bad because I'm attracted to this girl. She's got a good look. And then in the weight section, it said 210 to 220.
Whoa.
I'm looking at her and she was like 5'6" or 5'7". And I'm looking at her pictures going, that does not show that kind of heaviness in these pictures.
Yeah.
I wonder if she just got cold feet. Maybe she showed up and then saw me and it got spooked.
Right.
Or something like that, right? Because I was definitely not expecting somebody in that weight class. Now, if I'd known that up front and I had agreed to it, then that's on me.
Exactly.
Right? Like if I see that, hey, you're 210 and I've set up a meet and greet, then I'm expecting somebody 210 come in full overweight because that's what I'm expecting.
Exactly. Yeah.
And maybe that's what I'm attracted to. And there's plenty of men that we're not here to bag on girls that are heavy because you guys are very successful in Seeking too. We just ask that you be honest in that area because it's going to come out one way or another.
Yeah. I mean, it's no different than a guy saying that he's like a billionaire and then like,
I'm 5'4" and I put in there I'm 6 foot.
Exactly.
Guys do that all the time to the girls, and it pisses them off.
Yeah, exactly, because it's not who you're representing.
They're like, wait a minute,
you know?
I'm 5'5", and I'm taller than this guy who just showed up.
Yeah, and it's like,
and he said he was 6 foot.
Yeah. And the worst excuse is like, oh, maybe my personality will win them over. No.
Yeah.
Because all the other person, all I think about is that you're a liar at the start. That's literally like what I think of you at that moment.
Now, I'll have to admit, I do, and I think I've shrunk a little bit in my older age, but I was 5'9.5", and I do round it up to 5'10". But I can get away with that.
I think that's okay.
I could get away with that. I do not round it up to 6 foot, though.
No. Yeah. It's
but I think I'm closer to 5'9" now.
Yeah. Well, I'm shorter than you, so.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm 6'7" when I'm standing on my wallet.
Nice. Exactly. So yeah, I think all these things are kind of like, it's almost like no different than when a girl is going on a date with a guy, what she's looking for, it's like you want to look for green flags. But yeah, I think gratitude is definitely something that is really worth, because like for the girl, it's free to say thank you. It's free. And it's like, my primary, she shows so much gratitude to me, and I appreciate it because it's a recognition of effort. The guy is making an effort, making a sacrifice, either financially or, with his time. And to show appreciation, it tells him that, like, I value what you contribute to my life. I mean, I cannot tell you how long that goes in terms of keeping a guy motivated. And, like the way I kind of see the whole sugar daddy, sugar baby thing is that the guy obviously provides most of the help, whether financially or whatever else, but mostly financially. So, but the girl can get way more by just pitching in, like, I don't know, like 5% in terms of like maybe appreciation that enables the guy to keep going. Mm-hmm. And I think that really matters, and it's free to the girl. It's free to kind of like maybe, do a small thing like get him like a little mug. That's, one of the SBs have done that for me. Or like just, cook me a meal, or just say thank you. I mean, it really goes a long way.
Yeah.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
All right, couple questions for you as a sugar daddy. I had printed out quite a few, and obviously we aren't going to get to most of these, but I am curious. So do you keep spreadsheets of your sugar expenses, or you just let your accountant cry silently? How does that work?
I don't. I heard the last episode, it was the same question, and I don't right now. And honestly, like, as long as the stock market keeps trending upward, then everybody is happy. I haven't gone to that route, mostly because, it's like if I see the actual numbers, and it might scare me enough that I have to make a decision on some people. But at this point, I haven't really gone that far. And it's like, like I said, some people, they get way more, but mostly because they contribute more to my life. They're there more. I see them more often. They do things for me that I really appreciate. So it's not a linear thing where, everybody gets exactly the same amount,
All right, so what's the funniest thing you've ever bought for someone, immediately thought, what am I doing with my life?
A thing that I bought for them?
Yeah, just something you've bought, and then you went, what the fuck am I doing?
Oh, wow, I'm trying to, yeah. Huh.
A plane? You thought about buying a plane?
I did, for someone, yes, I did. That didn't happen. If she hears it, she's going to be like, where's my plane?
Yeah, right?
I do kind of think that if you're a guy, we all have a mental checklist in our head of what we're looking for, whatever is important to our life. And I think that when we meet that person that really checks off all the boxes, they will net so much from us, because of the fact that we see them as like just, able to share more of our lives with them, as opposed to like, obviously like the most basic level is that there is the exchange of intimacy, right? Because, most men want that. But then after that, there are like lifestyle choices, having freedom to travel. I mean, that's what I look for, So if a SB is able to to have that same lifestyle, I can see them benefiting way, way more as a result. So, and I kind of find that maybe if you're an SB, what you could do is like look for guys that share a lot of the same interests as you. I mean, it just almost kind of makes sense, because that way you can incorporate yourself more into that man's life and play a bigger part in his happiness. And he's going to share that with you because he wants to spend time with you. And obviously, the more time he spends with you, the more he cares about you. The more he cares about you, the more he's going to want to give you financially. So that could be something that is really worth figuring out.
All right, and finally, what's one piece of financial advice you'd give to aspiring sugar daddies out there? You've been doing this now for how long?
Since like 2020, but honestly, like at the beginning, I was like clueless. So, I mean,
well, we're always learning.
We all were. Yeah. I mean, that's why this community. I mean, if I can put a plug to the community that you have created, when I first found your podcast, I literally binge listened for like 7 hours because I was just traveling by myself in France. I mean, the amount of valuable information for a sugar daddy, for a sugar baby, figuring out how to do, figuring out scams, figuring how to navigate this world is literally so important. And I feel like I've just grown so much more mature as a result from it. And I've met so many people that have helped me so much.
Your financial piece of advice is say, listen to the show.
There you go.
There you go. That would be
sign up for the Patreon or to do the VIP, because to have a lot of friends in this, I feel like it really helps a great deal. I mean, we all kind of accumulate our money in different ways, some through business. I was fortunate through family. I don't know if there's one piece of advice. I mean, some people, I think maybe it's worthwhile having, like a spreadsheet or numbers, but.
Yeah. Well, my biggest thing is if somebody was brand new into this, don't commit to something right up front.
Absolutely.
I've done that too many times. I've committed to an allowance amount that was much higher than I was comfortable with, and it just blew up in my face because that person ended up they just weren't even worthy of my time.
Yeah.
And then they almost became ungrateful.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, oh, now I've committed to this. How do I get myself out of this mess?
Right. Yeah, I agree. I feel like PPM is definitely the absolute safest thing to do, especially at the beginning. I mean, it could be a function of the fact that I might not be in the same place all the time, so therefore I can't really see them. But I also don't know whether they're going to always be available like they say they would. And, the one piece of advice for SDs, I think, which I learn over and over and over again, is really like hitting me in the head. And it's like the universe is like trying to, smack that lesson into me, is to never pay up front. Because once you pay up front, you have lost all leverage in getting what you expect back in return.
Yeah.
It's like literally they could ghost you the next day and you cannot do a thing about it unless you were like part of the mob or send like some guy over there. None of us are. So therefore you can't really do anything.
Well, we've made the analogy of, let's say you hire somebody to work for you and you put them on a salary for the year, like say $60,000.
Yeah.
And you said, look, I'm going to give you that $60,000 up front in January.
Yeah.
How much work is this going to get done the rest of the year?
Yeah, exactly. Good luck if they show up to work in June.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've learned that lesson so many times. And the challenging part is that when people come to me with their requests, like whether it's 5K, 10K, or whatever it is, the reason they ask for the money, it's legitimate. It's like they need to do this class, they need to rent or like a deposit for an apartment, whatever it is. The need is real. But I think the human nature aspect is that once the need is satisfied, you don't really care to accommodate it. There was one SB that one sugar baby that I know, and I helped her with a class and I helped her with something else with her family, and it was really difficult to get her to come. And I'm never going to beg, so therefore how am I going to get her to show up?
Right.
Really, literally, maybe until the next time she needs money, but she's still like, say, like 6K in the red.
Yeah.
How is she going to make that up? And I think it's like, that's the situation where you don't want to set yourself up for it as a sugar daddy, because I think most sugar daddies are guys that actually do care about the people that they're with. And it's not just kind of like just one and done kind of thing. You need to develop a relationship with them. You care about their lives. And then when they come to you with a need, you do want to be the one that steps up and help them. But then I've learned over and over again, after that's done, it's really difficult to make things even. And then when things are not even, then the relationship is a lot of the times they fall apart.
Yeah.
Because you feel kind of, I don't know,
taken advantage of,
you know, and
nobody likes to feel.
Nobody
like
likes
that.
to feel that, especially the guy, you know,
Yeah.
no matter, I mean, even if you're a billionaire, I don't think that he would like to feel taken advantage of.
Well, very good. Thanks for coming in. We'll see you in a few weeks. What are you expecting from Sugarpalooza 6?
Oh, it is going to be the best party of the year.
You've seen the roster.
Yeah, I've seen the roster, but I mean, I cannot say more about how I love these parties, because you meet great people, you develop long-term friendships with them, people that you can rely on in terms of how you navigate through this world. It is indispensable. It is such a great community. Well worth the effort of applying, well worth the effort of sponsoring, well worth the effort of coming.
We're kind of having two parties in one, because we've turned the mixer into a full-blown night.
Yeah, that's right.
Of dinner and food and drinks and DJ and dance floor, the whole thing.
Yeah, for the SB, there's almost no reason not come, because it's free.
Yeah.
They just have to get there, you know?
Right. All right. Well, again, we appreciate you coming in the studio. It's always fun to do it live.
Oh,
but,
absolutely.
If you guys want to share your crazy sugar dating stories, even if we have to do it through Zoom, we would love to hear those. So go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, and you can contact us there. Instagram is a great way to get a hold of us. Lily, even though she's not doing the show as far as interviews, she's still behind the scenes, and she's still answering questions. We're still doing profile reviews and coaching on Patreon. So both of us are still really hard at work trying to help everyone get the most they can out of sugar dating. And we just want to see you guys succeed, because as Jay has found some success, so have we, and we've literally found the best friends of our life through this lifestyle.
I agree.
All right. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.